Welcome to yet another episode of Brand Talkies, a Kadabiti show where we believe in uncovering the stories behind the brands you absolutely love. I'm your host, Tamanna Chanana, and today we have another special guest. And trust me, it's gonna be really special for all of you because it's a quick 2 minutes recipe, and I'm sure you must have guessed which brand I'm gonna talk about today. So let's talk about the person who's behind this brand. His name is Varun Sethuraman. He's an accomplished FMCG marketer leading the charge to change brand love for one of the India's most beloved food brands, Maggi Noodles. As Maggie's category marketing head, Varun oversees P&L, brand strategy, communication, innovation, and team leadership for the noodle giant's continued success. With over 12 years of experience at Nestle, Varun has managed brands across Maggi and some other beverages in the category and recognized for stirring communication and disruptive innovations and his passion for understanding consumers. Varun has led award-winning campaigns that drive brand love. When he's not strategizing on how to stay ahead in India's competitive food market, you'll find this sports enthusiast traveling the world to check football stadiums off his bucket list. And just for everyone's clarity, the last time he was here, he didn't meet. So anyway, Varun offers an insider perspective on brand management, CPG marketing trends, and principles for long. Welcome to the show, Varun. It's truly a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to be here. And that part is not completely true. The last time when I spoke to this lady on the other side of the screen, she told me she lives 5 minutes away from the team that I support. So yeah, very jealous. But thank you for having me here.
But the next time you come, you know what is the place you have to go and visit the most before going step.
That is the deal. So she finally got me to come on this podcast when she offered accommodation, which is 5 minutes of this.
Yes, indeed. Okay, let's start by having you tell us a bit about yourself and your path in the world of marketing. Where did it all begin?
Oh, where it all began? Very difficult to pinpoint a particular day or a day to this one, but yeah. So listen, I'm a typical South Indian and for those who know how South Indian parents are, they will say, please do well in studies. I did moderately okay. They will say, please, once you finish, go and join an engineering college. Promptly did that. After that, they say, please learn an instrument of music. Did not do that. And then they said, please go do your GMAT and go abroad and settle. I said, did my GMAT and figured out this shit is not for me.
Okay.
And at that point, I was like, okay, it's better off to do something here in this country. And all along, have generally been interested in marketing. And somewhere along the way, I think that interest became a passion. And yeah, voila, that's sort of where I found myself.
Wow, that's interesting. But that doesn't only happen in South India, to be honest. It happens similarly in North India. Our parents are equal. How this entire journey would have been for you. All right. Second question forecast. What was your aha moment in your marketing career when everything clicked and you realized you were onto something really big?
Wow. I doubt if there is ever one moment. I think it's a series of many such moments that one will encounter.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and attempt a couple. See, I mean, I've been fortunate and very grateful to work on a lot of different brands. But sometimes the power of brands, when you go and talk to consumers and they start sharing stories that are genuinely unbelievable when you sit across, that was one moment. So, for example, I still remember my first brand was in this category called recipe mixes and Buna Masala.
Okay.
And it was nothing but a mixed onion, ginger, garlic, and the touch of Maggi in a ready paste. And I was sitting in front of this one mother who was saying, "You have no idea how painful my life is." And things like, they give me 20 minutes. Do you understand the power of 20 minutes?
Yeah.
And like, okay, so there is hope in this world that we're doing something right. And then of course, Maggi noodles, so many stories, so many memories. And even today, when I talk to a lot of my friends, they have a lot of different comments and saying, ki, I made this recipe, I made that. So, yeah, so it's a series of fleeting moments, not one. Yeah, maybe that's why 12, 13 years and counting, and it's still as exciting.
Wow, that's so amazing to know that even though you have been there with one brand, you have actually catered, or now what should I call you, a master chef of Maggie now, that people really go to you and ask you that this is what I created. What do you think about it?
No, that's a lot of other people, including my boss and a lot of my team. So I'm one of the many sous chefs.
I totally understand that. All right. And for the most of you who already listen to this podcast, you know that we usually have a buzzer round after this. But unfortunately, today we will not have a buzzer. Since he's a master of 2 minutes recipes. So let's have a 2 minutes magic round with him. All right. To begin with, what's the spiciest Maggie innovation you have tasted that made your eyes water?
Oh, very many. There's
Right.
one green chili noodles that had one, and it's one of my personal favorites. A friend and a colleague has launched Korean noodles from Maggi.
Yeah.
That is crazy spicy.
Yeah, I was about to ask you how exactly it is because I haven't tried that so far. But yeah, I'm literally hoping that it's that spicy the way it claims.
It's lovely. It's more than just spice, as the communication claims. And a quick tip of the hat to the colleague who's launched it recently.
Awesome. All right. If Maggie Noodle had a Tinder profile, what would it say? Give us your best dating profile for Maggie.
Okay, so for someone who didn't really grow up on the generation, that one's going to be tricky. Okay, so let's put it like this: loved by millions, they all can't be wrong.
Ooh, quite spiciest answer. Okay. The next question for this round. If Maggie had a mascot, what would it be and why?
Oh, this one's easy. For a brand that's loved by so many different people, it's very difficult to bring it together as one mascot.
Yeah.
No, there would be no mascot. It's the love of everyone who has the product. So yeah, so I'm no mascot for Maggie.
Oh, that I totally agree, especially for the kind of love that we have seen for generations. You can't just justify in one single word or one single person that can justify the entire communication for something like this. Okay, the final question for this round. If Maggie were a character in a movie, who would it be and why?
Interesting. The invisible angel that brings everyone together just before it says all is well.
Ooh, quite fancy. And bringing the together angle is something that I really love, especially from Coke and from Maggie, as both of them are one of my favorites, especially when it comes to FMCG. So yeah, and it's not something that I'm saying just because you are here. I'm just saying it from a genuine consumer point of view.
And long may this thrive.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, now we are done with our 2 minutes recipe. So, to begin with today's topic, can you tell us how brands can be loved by consumers for years? It's not easy to be loved across generations. How have you made that kind of impact?
Oh, it's very rare to find brands that survive the test of time, right? I'm going to think about this just from the beautiful company that I work with. There are very many. There's Maggie, there's Nescafe, there's Kit Kat, and when you look outside, you can see a lot more as well. So I think it goes back to having a brand that stands the test of time and offers value, continues to differentiate itself versus every other offering. If you take coffee, and it's a category that I love as much as I love Maggie. 2 decades back, coffee existed. 5 decades from now, coffee will exist. But when you say Nescafe, there's a certain promise, there's a certain quality, there's a certain value, there's a certain aroma that comes with it, right? And that's unbeatable, that magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's about having a brand essence and a brand personality that withstands the time and constantly just reinventing what it means to be relevant. So let's say 2024, today a Maggie or a Nescafe or even a Surf for that matter, product innovation or a communication standpoint, stay true to your but adapt. It's like wearing fancier clothes basis the fad of today, but still.
Wow, that's so interesting. Especially FMCG is a very tricky market, and to be on the top of this game needs a lot of due diligence, especially considering the consumer touch that you bring in all the time. So it's amazing. Okay, coming back to the other question, it's interesting how FMCG brands often infuse their stories with a human touch. Can you shed some light on how FMCG brands use storytelling to connect with customers on a personal level?
I think that's one of the things that personally attracts me a lot to FMCG, because what is FMCG at the end of the day? Fast moving consumer goods,
Yeah.
which that have a role in people's lives far
Yeah.
more frequently than, let's say, going out and buying a piece of fashion or anything else, which means it's about stories that we encounter on a daily basis, right? Be it your toothpaste, your shampoo, your coffee, your noodle. It's far simpler in a country like India, which has 1.4 billion, to at least pick a story abound, right? So if you have examples of how brands have brought this to life, you will see a lot of them about, I'm generalizing here, but a lot of them will speak about, let's say, mothers, be it in 2002 or 2024, still wanting to take care of their kids and their family, and doing the best that they can. So anything that makes their life easy and convenient, that's a simple. 2024, where a lot of dads today have co-parenting responsibilities. That's a touch again from the same family of household to say, hey, listen, what Tide did with the beautiful Share the Load campaign, or for that matter, what a lot of other brands are doing today to bring relevance of society of today, people of today. Inherent coexistence that can happen for brands that we see on a daily basis. And that's where a human touch helps.
It's so relatable to people, especially if you consider in our day-to-day lives. I remember from my grandmother's time till now, the flavor that you add, especially in a different set of household, you'll find people adding their own set of flavors. Someone will add vegetable, someone will add a jeera, someone will add another kind of masala to it, right? So everyone has their own set of stories, and the kind of legacy that you bring together with that brand connection, that's very beautiful. And it's not just about Maggie. I've seen a lot of brands doing that. If you see a recent campaign from Cadbury, it's been years of Cadbury, right? And now they are trying to bring that kind of the first initial advertisement that these guys had. Now they are trying to maintain that kind of legacy and the kind of value that they have bought in. So yeah, it's lovely to see a brand like this grow throughout so many years, and especially you being there, you know that what exactly it means. Even if the time is good or bad, it's always a connection between the customers that thrive this entire brand chain.
And it's a lot also about the very many different set of people who worked on these brands, right? So
Yeah.
if you think about it, it's a legacy that gets passed down from one generation to the other.
Yeah.
If you're Kit Kat
Yeah.
again, and so it's a big responsibility. So
Mhm.
you get a brand, you get a great brand document, and a living, breathing brand purpose that comes in. And as marketers, our job at the end of the day is to maintain it and see what 1% incremental we can add to it.
Yeah, that's super. And personally, I have a soft corner for FMCG. All the time you find my posts, there are very, very related to how customers bring in their own touch and how brands are equally supportive enough for them. It's not just about the money that they are trying to pour. It's about the relationship that they're building. So it's amazing to see that. All right. Anyway, less of my comments and more of yours. Okay. Can you remember a campaign that's your favorite and truly resonated with customers, making a long-lasting impression? It can be about any brands that you have seen recently, anything from your previous example, anything.
See, marketers are inherently very possessive about what they've created.
Yeah.
It's very rare that we will give examples outside of what we've done.
Mhm.
But what I will do is, as an exception, is any Maggie ad that you pick over the last 44 years would be my favorite.
Okay.
Try and give you an example of something which is non-Maggie or non-Nestle. I don't know if you've seen the Colgate ad that came out recently, the Colgate Granny.
No, I
If you have
haven't.
to look it up, lovely piece of communication that it was spot on. I absolutely love that. And I think it works for someone who's just getting into the category at the age of 10, 70. I mean, it's brilliant. That's personal favorite. Other that I would say, I'm trying to look at something in recency. There's this very nice campaign in India that Subway did with Vishwanathan Anand.
I think I remember that.
I thought it was lovely. The great use of a celeb who has fantastic cut through,
Mhm.
and also brought alive a little bit of a genuine problem that I felt Subway had for people deciding what do I order, what is the mix that I have. That was lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think continuing on that theme, Cred did a phenomenal one with Rahul Dravid.
Yeah, that was amazing. Seriously.
And Dravid is a personal hero from China. So yeah, so how can I miss that?
Yeah, indeed. And the way they portray him, it wasn't even looking like it was a brand ad. It was like he was a part of that entire thing. And that was actually happening on the spot.
I don't know if Cred benefited as much as the fact that suddenly marketers woke up to thinking, okay, you know what, Rahul Dravid actually has a huge screen presence.
Yeah, especially for the sports lovers. I know the kind of enthusiasm all of us. There was a flashback of what happened initially throughout the last 10 years, and now suddenly, oh man, this guy has that kind of credibility.
I don't know. It was very nicely made.
Yeah, that's what marketers are for, right? We all come up with innovative ideas. Sometimes we fail, sometimes we succeed, sometimes we find that kind of value that, okay, we should learn from this and we should do something better. So, yeah.
Although it is debatable if marketers end up doing only communication, which is a fancy side of life. But yeah, the Excel sheets and PowerPoint actually take up percent of our time.
Yeah, I agree. That happens with me all the time. Half of the time when I realize that what's in my agenda, it's consumed in the calls. Third is was consumed in the work. And then, especially the Excel sheets and the presentation. And then you realized, dude, you have to do something for your R&D also. The next time you want to pitch into your brand into something, where will you do it? You need that extra 10% for yourself. So yeah, it's always 110 or 20 that comes in. Okay, coming back to the questions again. In the fast moving world of FMCG, how do you handle the pressure to achieve short term wins while ensuring the brand's long term growth growth remains strong? This is one of the major challenges that I see with all the brands. It's not just specific towards FMCG. So yeah, your views are very
No right answer to this one. We can take a very diplomatic view of this one, but listen, short term stress and pressures are a reality. Way to escape your sales numbers not coming through, your year's numbers not coming through.
Yeah.
I think what I have picked up from the very many different bosses that I've worked with is invest in the future. When there is a need to make a short term or a medium term call, don't do something that goes fundamentally against what the brand stands for.
Okay.
If you have a brand, if you have a golden brand, and if you have a brand that's been built over many years, don't over discount, for example. Stay true to what the brand is by offering a value from the lens of the brand. So don't fall prey to the short term tactics by harming term equity.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said earlier, we all have a responsibility that we need to hand over the brand to people in the pinkest of health. So don't do anything that will harm that. But yeah, listen, short term pressures and short term stress is a reality. There will be good, be bad years, and consumer demand is volatile.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the principle that I'm sure a lot of people live by is don't compromise too much, but definitely compromise on what the brand stands for.
That's a golden piece of advice, especially for the FMCG brands for sure. Because usually people focus on their short term goals rather than their long term approach. And that's where a lot of them have failed recently, if you see, in the Indian market. But yeah, good to see that at least this is something that you guys still consider, that brand values are more than just the goals that you have in your KRAs or KPIs. Okay, looking ahead, what emerging technologies or trends do you believe will have the most significant impact on innovation and long-term growth in FMCG industry? This is something that I'm talking from an industry point of view, because I do understand that with the fast-moving pace, we need to go ahead with the technology and the innovation aspect as well. So I'd like to know your thoughts on that.
I mean, innovation is fundamental to any business, large brand, small brand. The more we innovate, the better we are. See, in terms of the role that innovation has in technology, I'll split the two. Let's just take innovation and say, listen, every brand, every company will keep innovating. Less than 5% of innovation succeeds. So you try to keep trying until you hit that 5%. So that will happen. But more than technology, I think I will stick to a little bit of trends, because I think technology at the end of the day will enable solving a need for a consumer, which will come from a trend that marketers can spot.
Yeah.
So I would say trends, and particularly for India, examples will be relevant here is when we talk of urban India, metros, etc.
Yeah.
The whole idea of convenience is being redefined by, let's say, quick commerce or delivery platforms in maximum 12 minutes, which means the kind of SKUs that you will have, you don't need large packs, you might have smaller packs. You don't need to have planned shopping. You can do impulse and emergency shopping. So that's one trend in urban India will be very interesting and will change or influence at least a lot of marketers in the country.
Yeah.
Second, I believe rural India as a giant is just waking up. Brand building that happened in the Indian market, let's say 2 decades back, it's ripe for play in rural and today. And given the amount of data and technology available and accessible at such low rates, I think growth for India, country, and FMCG as a category is going to be powered from rural India. So that's one trend: data and easy delivery. I will say trends to watch out.
Wow, great. I think that's important, and especially considering the consumer approach, it's important that go ahead and follow that entire trend cycle that's happening. And I totally agree that not all the brands need that kind of innovation, but yeah, some of them needs to wake up and open their eyes and see what exactly is happening, and we should also move as we go ahead. All right, thank you, Varun, for giving us an insider view into revitalizing iconic brands in India's dynamic FMCG landscape. Your stories about leading through spearheading disruptive innovations were truly enlightening. Before we go, what's one key lesson you share with young marketers looking to thrive in the FMCG landscape?
What is one? Just be passionate about the work that you do, and that itself in a lot of goodwill at the end. Just be passionate about what you do.
Wow, that's nice, and especially for marketers, it's all about passion, right? That drive us throughout our lives and throughout our career journeys. So yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. And that's a fantastic advice. Listeners, I hope you have been inspired by Varun's strategic mindset and relentless consumer focus that fuels long-term brand growth. The future is bright, brands that balance core equity with evolution. Thank you again, Varun. Stay tuned tuned for more captivating brand conversations on the BD show as we explore the changing world of consumer products and marketing. And remember, you can catch the BD show on your favorite audio platform, whether Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, or Amazon Music. We are also on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe. Until next time, embrace creativity, innovation, and cutting edge of technology. The future beholds to those who shape it. From all of us at Brand Talkies, stay inspired. Sayonara.